Durag Wisdom is back. I was singing so much, I just lost control, and I couldn't even believe it. I mean, suddenly I just started just dancing. I had to turn the music off. I was going crazy. Seriously, folks, right now at this very moment on C-SPAN, C-SPAN, C-S, S as in Sam, PAN.org. Find out when it's on TV. Right now, very exciting show on right now on C-SPAN. It's the final confirmation hearing for Cracker Beauregard Sessions, KKK Esquire, who the birther bastard wants to be his puppet attorney general of the United States. And you should hear some of the speeches. I'm recording it right now. It's been going on since this morning, since 9:30. And of course, they sit there. They're told not to talk that long. Democrat, Republican, Democrat, they're taking turns. And I have to tell you, the Democrats are sticking it to everything they're saying about this cracker scumbag is absolutely accurate. And, you know, right now, another committee, the Education Committee, I think, of the Senate or whatever it is, they're right now voting to approve Betsy DeVos, the dick head that is going to earthquake, who's going to be, you know, who's going to oversee public schools, and she's never attended a public school in her life, nor does she send her children to public schools. Isn't that wonderful? And her whole dedication in life has been to destroy public education, one of the great privileges of living in our free country, because the Republicans want to privatize everything. I mean, everything. I mean, prisons, schools, hospitals, make them pay. Like the new nominee for the Health and Human Services, the inhuman doctor who does harm, Doctor, what is it, Dr. Grant, or Dr. Price, the doctor who does harm. Oh, I believe they should have access. Don't you believe people have a right to government-sponsored health care? They ask for, they should have access. If you can pay, little poor motherfuckers. I always say that what we have now is the result of a perfect storm. And I'm going to keep saying this. We had the Republicans, the GOP, the racist, totalitarian, fascist GOP went nuts when we elected our first black American twice. They must have went home every night and stuck their head in the shit-stained toilet and went flush, 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 flush. And they, you know, and they came up with some great ideas. Citizens United, bringing big money into our politics so that the Koch brothers, K-O-K-H, the Koch brothers, Charles and David, remember that? Or a guy named Adelson, who owns the Venetian casino. All right? So people like this can put all their money in, it's allowed now, Citizens United, to buy and control our government. So they're totally, the GOP is totally in their park, but the Democrats are almost there. I mean, they're corporatists. So really, we as a nation, progressive nation, in spite of what these shitheads want to say, we as a progressive nation want to go forward, not backwards. We don't want to live in a country where women don't have a right to choose, where LBTGQ, I hope I said, I mean, don't have right. I want a country where everybody, people get married to who they want to get married to. People can live and let live. We have an environment. We have a future for our children. We respect the variety of human life on this planet. We try to overcome our tribal ways, which I have not overcome. None of us have overcome. But we had a perfect storm. So we had the Koch brothers, and we had big money allowed in. Then the Koch brothers came in like Count Dracula. They allowed big money into our politics, Citizens United. So then Koch brothers came, the rich people came, who were mostly greedy slime balls who want to just turn our country into something it is not. And of course, you have voter suppression. The GOP constantly practicing voter suppression. You got gerrymandering, which gerrymandering is when you make sure the district lines favor one political party. That's why we're stuck probably with a GOP House until 2020. Is that a free society? So then you have the corporatists. This is part of the perfect storm. You have a weak Democratic Party with the corporatists, who are being overcome in the background, grassroots, with all the money the Koch brothers are spending with the teabaggers to take over states, state offices, state governments, to bring in their shit to the federal government. Then of course, you got the Electoral College, which that's what we have to accept, even though Hillary Clinton won by popular vote. Okay? So this is all built up to the point, and you have a crazy, unhinged. I mean, they should lock the birther bastard up. Really, they should lock him up in a straitjacket. It's a nightmare. It's like Dan Rather said, the Twilight Zone. Come on, can't you see? We were living in a nice, under the President Obama. It's not perfect, but hey, things were going, and then zip, we woke up and we live in an alternative reality where everything is crazy now. Because we have in our government now traitors like Steve Bannon who want chaos. You got creeps who now are in control, who just want to destroy the federal government, except for matters of the military and for matters of looking at our bedrooms. That's all it is. Other than that, they want the government to be totally uninvolved. Let the states take over. And say, for example, if you're in a state with Republicans and they're really shit, they'll take away every right you can imagine. Oh, Texas? You coming to Texas? You can't have an abortion in Texas. I'm sorry. Perfect storm. The wackos who always are slobbering at the back of the auditorium what they're going to do if they ran the government. So, then we had Democrats running a corporatist instead of Bernie Sanders against a wacko who a lot of people don't know. In our celebrity-obsessed society, you don't think sometimes. I mean, I've lived in New York for 42 and a half years. So I know the kind of shit bird. I don't want to bird. I love birds. Shit turd the birther bastard Trump is. I thought about him. I mean, I moved here in 74. I first got whiff of his stink in the 80s, in the early 80s, and I know what kind of shit brain he is. And now, the perfect storm came together, and now you're going to have a chance. People didn't vote. That's also part of that storm. Half this country didn't vote. So that also added to the storm. A wacko was running, and I'm not blaming the people that didn't vote. I understand. They're always, we never get the candidate we really want. It's always what they want. Zoom! And now we have the wacko in charge. The frothing at the mouth, cancerous tumor at the back of the auditorium. I'm gonna do everything. I hate everybody. I kill myself if I could. And now we see now, when the wackos are in charge. I never knew. Well, let's just say this. I always suspected that one day the wackos would be in charge. Because, you know, the GOP, the right wing, have always been advancing more and more radical, reactionary style candidates. And here we are in our modern Y2K, the 21st century, and here we're at a crossroads whether we're going to go toward our hairy ape origins, beyond our naked ape, and become more refined. But you know, most of the science fiction books I've read and great films I've seen, they all agree on one thing, that we're going to have to blow ourselves up before we could either die or advance, depending on which science fiction you're watching. Some don't see us advancing, dying when we die. Others see us advancing, but savages again. You know, others see us maybe like, Star Trek. We learned our lesson from the hatred and the savagery that we allowed. Are we going to learn our lesson before we blow ourselves up like many of our science fiction, speculative fiction writers have predicted? Are we going to wake up before that happens? Well, we got the perfect storm. We got the wacko in office. We see what kind of things happen when wackos are in charge. Have you built your fallout shelter yet?